Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I hear the Lakers are interested in Bruce Brown. Now, I know he's going to probably be way more expensive than what the Lakers probably want to pay, but the interest is high. From what I understand, we can give him the full mid-level exception, which I believe is $12.5 million per year. And the Denver Nuggets, NBA champion Denver Nuggets, can only pay him $7.5 million. So I don't know if Brucey B is not coming to the LA Lakers, given that being the circumstance. And I know that Mike Malone told everybody, hell no, Brucey B ain't going nowhere, hell no. I'm telling you, Brucey B is set to make double, basically, or close to double if he does. And I don't know if he's going to see that as something he wants to do or not, but joining the LA Lakers, leaving cold Denver, it's not like that's going to be very difficult for a lot of people to do. So it's not, they don't have a leg up on us in any way other than the fact they just won the championship. And he had a huge to do with that, which is why we're trying to pry him away. So that is really interesting to me. Julian Strawther and those guys, they better hope they can really play, because I don't like how they drafted, to be honest with you. And that's exactly what they're anticipating is Brucey B skedaddling. Now, my question is, how do we keep Brucey B and everything else that we're trying to resign? Well, the answer is, I don't think you do. I think Brucey B is somebody we're going after if for some reason one of those two free agents gets an astronomically disrespectful contract for us to match. Whether it be Austin Reeves or Rui Hachimura. If somebody wants to give Rui Hachimura $160 million, I can assure you the Lakers will not be matching that. And from there, we would be taking a look at picking up players like Brucey B and anybody else we can get. I think that's more realistic. Maybe we don't sign D'Angelo Russell. Something goes wrong there. Then you got Brucey B coming in. It's $12 million. But as far as us re-signing everybody and getting Brucey B, I don't really see that. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not possible, because what we can do is decline, what's his name, Beasley's contract, and that's $16 million right there. That'll take care of Bruce B by itself. So it's not really about anything other than making sure you can just simply free up that space, and that should not be too difficult for the Lakers. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is seeing if we can actually pull that off. $12 million a year for Bruce Brown. From what I've seen, he probably is worth that so long as you're giving him the role. Brooklyn had the role for him. He looked pretty good. Was he $12 million good in Brooklyn? Close to it. Probably not. For the Denver Nuggets, first guy off the bench, unguardable force based on the fact that they had so many big players around him that ultimately made him difficult to defend. And the one thing I like about Bruce Brown, as I mentioned maybe once last week randomly when I was crossing the street making a video, so Bruce Brown is somebody that doesn't have too many holes in his game. You can count on him to put pressure on the rim consistently. You can count on him to be a very good defender. You can count on him to be efficient from behind the arc. So it's like those are three key things that you definitely want. And he's a big body, bigger than most guys at that position. So it's like there's a lot of reasons why you want Bruce Brown on your team, including the fact that he's an NBA champion at this point. Also, with him being a defending champ right now. Swept us out of the playoffs, had a big to do with that, including hitting some big shots. I don't think Denver would like to let him go. I think if anything, you try to free up more cap space to try to assure you can give him more than the $7 million you're set to give him. Because $7 million, we probably ain't going to keep him now. But that's what it is. When you win a championship, your players on your team value go up, especially when you only use 8 of them. And that brings me to another thing. So this is why the Lakers, I believe, didn't play Rui as much as they should have during the playoffs. We know he was basically never missing any shots and was locking down everybody in front of him. We were only giving him 20 minutes, 18 minutes, sometimes not even playing him. Right now is what we were hoping that action would benefit us. When it's time to go to the negotiation table, he's played so very well. But at the end of the day, we can say, well, we only used him so much, so he can't really demand so much from us, nor should the market demand so much from him, because there's not so much of a sample size of him playing at a super high level for him to be given a $160 million contract. You understand what I'm saying? It's like if we would have played him as much as I wanted us to play him, as much as the data was showing us we should play him based on how much he was helping us win, we probably end up losing him. I think the same thing goes with Lonnie Walker. I said the same thing about him. There were times we could have played Lonnie Walker. It didn't hurt us not to play Lonnie Walker. But when it comes around to free agency, we get him for the cheap because we didn't play him as much. And I think players have been going through that all over the league because it is a strategy for teams to try to retain these players at a decent amount. If you don't play too much and too well, you ain't gonna be too expensive. And so that's what I think kind of happened there to Lonnie and Rui. And I think Denver wasn't doing that at all with Brucey B. And as a result, they're probably about to lose Brucey B because they showcased him as one of the only 8 players that they would use in rotation. These are the things you have to deal with when you do that. This is also a byproduct of that strategy. Is now your players that you used. Everybody sees them as super champions that did so much, and it's because you used them like crazy. You should have used more players, and they wouldn't be seen as these overwhelmingly great players that ultimately must be paid all this money. So it's one of many functionalities of doing things correctly in the NBA, balancing your player development and all those different things, drafting well, having good scouts. All of that connects to this because at the end of the day, one thing affects the price of the next thing it's next to as it pertains to these teams in the NBA. So when half of the team isn't getting used, you force all your value to the top of the team, and as us, everybody sees it that way. So that's what it is, man. Brucey B is likely going to be leaving the Denver Nuggets, if you ask me. I think it's a good chance he goes. If not to the Lakers, I'm worried it's going to pay him more than $7 million a year. That's what I have to say. And I would welcome him for sure. I would not. See, the thing about it is we have a lot of guards, but I'll tell you right now, if we're bringing in Bruce Brown, he ain't the one that's leaving. So, yeah, we have a guard problem, but he ain't the problem. It's somebody else. That's how that has to go. It's going to be Schroeder. It's going to be D'Lo. It's going to be somebody else. It ain't going to be the NBA champion that plays two ways. Because at the end of the day, what we don't have with our guard position is defensive talent. That's what I've been saying. That's why I'm so excited about Demoy Hodge, because he comes in immediately is that. Maybe Jalen Hood-Schifino can turn into a defender, but he's a little more offense than defense and can develop into a solid defender over time. But you're not expecting him to really help you there this year. You bring in Bruce Brown, I'm telling him and Vando to guard the other best guy. That's a guard. Those are the two guys that are going to be guarding your best guard. I got Bruce Brown with a huge body and defensive minded, and of course, it's going to be Vando on you with his 6'8", 6'9" frame. And we know he's one of the better on-ball defenders in the game. So, yeah, I like Bruce Brown for the LA Lakers. I like him better than I like some other talent that we may be trying to consider keeping, to be honest with you. And that just is what it is. I think signing him to a $12 million a year contract can be a little risky depending on how things shake out over the years, how many years you want to give him, because that's going to be a thing for a guy who just won a championship. He's going to want to be locked up for more than 2 years. So trust it and believe that's kind of how that contract going to look. And I don't know, he's not an all-star player. At the end of the day, this is a role player you're bringing in. Now, he's played well consistently, so I feel good about bringing him in, but he's also been a journeyman to a degree, a couple teams in a couple years. That tells me that his last stop probably won't be with you. So you better sign him to something that you don't mind moving, that you can move. Because if you don't, it could be a chance you want to move him and won't get a good return for him, and that's something you always got to consider when signing somebody else's free agent. So yeah, that's on my mind. Let's see. That's pretty much where it's at. As far as the LA Lakers, we like I said, we're waiting for free agency to open up on Friday. Right now, they're just announcing everybody the Lakers are interested in. Guys are coming to terms. Probably won't be signed till Friday, but certain things are just understood to be in the works. I was listening to some Houston Rockets podcast, and they were talking about various things that Tillman Fertitta was saying in regards to their team. Listen to a little excerpt they played. Tillman Fertitta was talking about phases, phase 1, phase 2. And my thing is this, the Rockets, his mindset is that the Rockets need to be winning 18 more games than they won last year. An 18-game jump means you revamping the entire roster. Because if you're talking about young players that keep on getting drafted every year, you're asking them to come together to make something cohesive happen when you haven't even built anything cohesive. Yeah, the only way you're going to make that jump is if you're bringing in the type of star talent that they're rumored to be bringing in. So it sounds like they're ready to do some things they have no business doing. I hear KJ Martin, Kenyon Martin's son, they're shopping him, which is ill-advised. He's a 22-year-old athlete, jump out of the gym and pretty much hit shots, play some defense as well. A team with the Rockets roster should not be trying to move him. Absolutely not. But they're not interested in doing anything that makes any sense. They're interested in winning right now. So, yeah, the reason why I bring the Rockets up in this video is because we need to be fielding calls to them. If they're interested in relinquishing all of that young talent and making themselves average by way of superstar dreams or whatever it is they're thinking about building when they're phases, then we need to go ahead and make some calls and try to get some of those young players out of there. KJ Martin, go get him. If there's a way we can get that player, go get him. That's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? And anything else that Tillman's willing to give up, I think teams need to be calling right now. And if he's really serious about breaking up one of the best athletic, probably the most athletic team ever assembled, if he's serious about breaking that up to bring in James Harden, then by all means, let's have at it. Have at it. I think the field should jump on them young players like hyenas and get them all out of there. Get every last one of them away from him and leave him with what he wants. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. That's how I feel. And then when it crashes and burns, we will wave at him with all of his young players on all of our teams. Real talk. Because that's what needs to happen. I'm so irritated and confused by how that type of thinking is still in this league. When you got all of the young talent that everybody wants, and you are trying to become what all of them are as they struggle with it. Please, do it. You deserve it. If you feel that way, you definitely deserve what comes with that. So yeah, let's usher him into phase 3 LA. I think everything in my mind is telling me we need to be making calls and offer him all of what it is we don't care to let go of, including stuff that we are not super married to that we're about to resign. Send it to Houston. Send it to Houston and just take whatever you can get from the back of his bench, because all of it's lottery talent. All of it. The whole thing's lottery talent. That's the point. Even the guys that are on the back of the bench that you don't see you showcase, they're not getting the Bruce Brown treatment. They're getting the Thomas Bryant treatment. It's not like they're getting the Rui Hachimura treatment. You know what I'm saying? They're not being showcased. So nobody knows they're good, and that's exactly when people like us go grab those guys. We grab them, put them on our teams. And whatever it is that they're going to become, they do it in our uniform, and they raise in value, as we always talk about, and boom, we got a good team. We got a good team. You know what I'm saying? Because we got the right pieces, and the pieces that we got, we can trade away. You know what I'm saying? As to which he's going to bring himself the complete opposite. And it's like you see it. You see the beautiful Titanic, and you know what's about to happen. He's going to just sink this dang thing. He's going to purposely run it into the iceberg. That's what he's going to do, because he wants to see wins. He wants 18 wins in one season. And in mortgaging all of that future, he's going to get his 18-win season. He's going to fizzle out in the playoffs like he always does when they build a competitive team. And then, as I said, it's going to be ineptitude thereafter. As bad as he doesn't want to be right now is as bad he's going to be later on for what it is he does. And the sad thing is he's going to be losing these same 18 games, but only ain't going to be no young talent there. Because he would have gave it all away to get the old guys for 5 minutes of an 18 more wins. 18 more wins ain't in a championship, sir. It ain't. That ain't a championship. 18 more wins means that you probably got to the second, third round. At best. You know what I'm saying? It's just nonsense. He wants to go after Fred VanVleet and James Harden when he got Amen Thompson, Green, all these players, man. Smith, Whitmore, all of these guys, bro. KJ, all of them. Josh Christopher. It's just such an egregious thought to think I have all of the most valuable stuff and I want to give it away for the ESPN suggestion type of stuff. Build me a super team with 3 stars and no bench. This is the dream. This gets us our 18 wins. More than we had last season. I have one question. This is one question. Ime Udoka, why did you go there, bro? Why did you go there? I'd imagine it's because you wanted to coach a loaded team full of young players. I'd imagine that's why. Not James Harden and Fred VanVleet and about 2 of those kids. Or actually, they probably just get rid of all of them so that they can have the timeline that helps you win a championship right now, because, of course, that's what it's all about. They got the timeline. We want to bring us our old players, and then we want to bring people who are on $20 million contracts who are from their era so that we can have an old team and try to defeat Jokic with what that is. And I'm telling you, the only thing he should really want is exactly what he has, man. The only thing that owner should want is all of those kids that came out of the lottery over the last 3 years. That's it, man. That's all you should want. That is what the NBA is about. And he's trying to blow it. He's trying to throw it all away for James Harden's contract and another bad Fred VanVleet contract. I'm telling you. For this channel, for a person like myself who watches this, I'm just like, yo, he's a cancer. That isn't a cancer in this league. You have got to get him out of here, man, before he ruins this. You know, that's one of the worst owners in sports, if you ask me. So that is exactly what I think of that. Him, Matt Ishbia, man, these guys, man, they just do things the wrong way, and the rules, so to speak, the collective bargaining agreement tries to save them from themselves, and they just will not have anything of it. They are going to sink their ship no matter what. So I'm just glad I'm a Laker fan. You know what I'm saying? we've done a lot on this channel to try to help our team steer far clear from that mindset. We are far from it. I think we're in a good space. I'm proud of my Lakers based on that. I wish we didn't allow them to get Cam Whitmore. That's the last team he needed to be going to. But then again, they got the roster, but for only 5 more minutes because they can't jump 18 wins in one season. So, yeah, I'm just a Laker fan, hopeful that we can get on the phone and help ourselves to some of those athletes. That's what I want us to do. If we can ship D'Lo over there, you know, Bamba, all the stuff we're ultimately looking to ship, you know, what's his name, Beasley, all those contracts that we're about to sign to trade, send them to the Rockets. Yeah, that's what we need to do, and just take whatever you can get from them. Go get Tyree Eason. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't gonna have a role there. If not, then get Deshaun Tate, get Garuba. Since nobody thinks he can play any offense, I'll take the lottery pick that everybody's forgotten about. Ty, go get him before he develops and anybody finds out what he can do. Who else, man? They got a bunch of them. Go get them. Get everybody on that team that they simply do not want. KJ Martin, get him out of there. Because at the end of the day, those guys, even if they jump a little bit in value, that's like double the value for you because you get to just showcase them. Even if they're not that good, they're going to be better than what the Rockets showed because they didn't show them at all. So, yeah, that's what I have to say, man. I'm just like... And the good thing, the thing that makes me feel good is listening to their podcast, the Rockets podcast. They're just frustrated about it. It seems like I am from afar. You know what I mean? They're not on board with any of this crap either. New phases, they phase him out. Get him out of there before he throws away 15 years of great assets, because that's exactly what the Rockets have. 15 years of fantastic assets. At least 2 of those guys are going to pop into great players. At least 2. I actually believe more. But if you just don't do anything, I promise you probably have at least 2 or 3 perennial all-stars. And Green, Smith, Sengun, Whitmore, Thompson, one of them dudes is a Hall of Famer. Probably all of them if they find the right spot and get the hell away from him. BDL 44, I thank you all for watching.